Elias Kane lived alone in a giant house on a hill, surrounded by tall trees and silence. 10 years ago, he lost his wife and young daughter in a car crash. Since then, he became like a ghost. Rich, famous, but empty. He gave millions to schools, hospitals, and orphanages, but he never visited the places or met the people he helped. His heart stayed frozen, locked away in memories. One rainy afternoon, his assistant, Clara, convinced him to visit a foster care center in the city. "The kids there need hope," she said. Elias agreed, but only to sign a check. The center was small, with peeling walls and laughter echoing down the halls. Kids ran around playing with broken toys while tired social workers tried to keep up. Elias felt uneasy. He didn't belong here. That's when he saw them, 5 brothers sitting in a corner. The oldest, Marcus, 14, had his arm around the youngest, 6-year-old Caleb, who clutched a torn teddy bear. The middle boys, Jamal, 10, Terrell, 9, and Dion, 8, sat close like they were guarding each other. Their clothes were faded, but their eyes were sharp. A social worker whispered to Elias, "Their mom died 2 years ago. No family. They've been split into different homes 3 times, but they keep running back to each other." Elias's chest tightened. He walked over, his expensive shoes squeaking on the old floor. Marcus glared up at him. "You another rich guy here to take pictures?" he snapped. Elias froze. The boy's anger felt familiar. It mirrored his own. Before he could reply, Caleb tugged Marcus's sleeve. "Don't be mean, Mark. He looks sad," the little boy said, staring at Elias with wide, curious eyes. Elias crouched down, ignoring the discomfort in his knees. "Why do you think I'm sad?" he asked Caleb. The boy shrugged. "Your eyes are like Jamal's drawings." He pointed to Jamal, who'd been quietly sketching on a scrap of paper. Elias glanced at the drawing, a stormy sky with a single bird trying to fly. The social worker stepped in. "The boys need a home together, or they'll be separated forever next week. No one wants 5 kids at once." Marcus suddenly stood, his fists clenched. "We're not charity cases," he said, voice shaking. "We just want to stay together, that's all." His bravery cracked on the last word, and Elias saw the fear underneath. That night, Elias couldn't sleep. He wandered the halls of his mansion, past dusty rooms that hadn't been opened in years. In his daughter's old bedroom, toys, still, sat on the shelves frozen in time. He picked up a stuffed rabbit she'd loved, its fur frayed. For the first time in years, he cried, deep, ugly sobs that echoed through the house. The next morning, he called his lawyer. "I want to adopt those 5 boys," he said. The lawyer gasped. "All of them? Sir, the media will." Elias hung up. He didn't care about headlines. He just knew he couldn't let those brothers become another thing he failed to fix. When the social worker told the boys, they didn't cheer. Marcus narrowed his eyes. "Why us?" he asked Elias later as they sat in the mansion's huge kitchen. The other boys silently ate sandwiches, watching their big brother like he was their shield. Elias hesitated. "I don't want you to feel alone," he said finally. Marcus snorted. "You don't know anything about us." But Caleb smiled, his cheeks full of food. "I like your house. It's like a castle," Terrell whispered to Dion. "Bet he's got a pool." Jamal just kept drawing, his pencil scratching fast. The first week was chaos. The boys argued over bedrooms, ate junk food Elias didn't know he had, and broke a fancy vase. But tiny moments stuck with Elias, Jamal leaving a drawing of a sun on his desk, Caleb falling asleep on his lap during a movie, Marcus secretly fixing a leaky sink because someone's got to do it. One night, Elias found Marcus alone in the kitchen, eating cereal. "You still think I'm doing this for show?" Elias asked. Marcus shrugged. "Rich white guys don't adopt black kids for no reason." Elias's face fell. "I'm trying," he said softly. Marcus stared at him, then muttered, "Trying's better than nothing," before walking away. As days passed, Elias realized these boys weren't healing him. They were waking him up. But he had no idea the storm that was coming, or the secret from his past that would soon rip their fragile new family apart. The news exploded like a firework. "Billionaire adopts 5 brothers," screamed headlines. Cameras camped outside Elias's gates and strangers argued online. Some called him a hero, others sneered. "He's using those kids for good PR." The boys saw none of it. Elias banned phones and TVs, turning the mansion into a chaotic bubble of board games, spilled cereal, and laughter that felt too loud to be real. Marcus watched it all like a guard dog. When a reporter slipped a note over the gate, "Are the boys happy?" Marcus scribbled back, "None of your business," and stuck it to the fridge. Elias laughed, but Marcus didn't. "They'll turn on you," he warned. People always. Tourists one afternoon. Caleb found Elias in the garden, staring at a rose bush his wife had planted. "Can you braid my hair?" Caleb asked, holding up a crumpled magazine. On the cover was a black celebrity with neat cornrows. Marcus tried, but he's bad at it. Elias hesitated. He'd never even touched braids before. "I'll mess it up," he said. Caleb shrugged. "So fix it." They sat on the porch. Steps. Elias's hands shook as he parted Caleb's hair, fumbling with the gel and clips Clara bought. "Ow! Too tight!" Caleb yelped. Sorry, Elias mumbled, sweating. Jamal peeked from behind a tree, giggling. By the 5th try, the braids were lumpy, but Caleb beamed. "I look like a superhero." He ran inside to show the others. Jamal snapped a photo on a stolen phone. That night, it went viral. A pale billionaire in a wrinkled shirt, tongue sticking out as he braided a black boy's hair. The caption read, "Stepdad level 100. Strangers gushed, 'So wholesome,' but others hissed, 'This is cultural tourism.'" The next morning, Marcus slammed the phone on Elias's desk. "You let Jamal post this? Now we're memes." Elias blinked. "I didn't know he took it." Marcus's voice cracked. "You don't get it, we're not your pets." He stormed out, kicking a trash can. Things got colder. Marcus ate alone. Dion and Terrell whispered in corners. Only Caleb stayed sunny, following Elias like a duckling. "Why is Mark so mad?" he asked. Elias sighed. "He thinks I'm pretending." Caleb hugged his leg. "I don't think you're pretend." Elias tried harder. He hired Ms. Leah, a black chef from New Orleans, to cook meals the boys missed, jollof rice, fried plantains. But when she served okra stew, Terrell gagged. "This tastes like Grandma's. I hate Grandma's cooking." Ms. Leah laughed. "Your grandma ever put hot sauce in it?" She slid Terrell a bottle. He dared a bite, then grinned. At bedtime, Elias awkwardly read, "The Watsons go to Birmingham" aloud. The boys piled on the couch, skeptical. But when he messed up a southern accent, Terrell snorted milk out his nose. Soon they were all wheezing. For a moment it felt like family. Then came the shopping trip. Clara warned him, "Take security." Elias refused. "We're just getting bikes." But at the mall, whispers followed them. "Is that the billionaire and his kids?" a woman sneered. Dion froze, dropping the toy car he'd been eyeing. Elias didn't hear the comment. He was too busy chasing Caleb, who'd bolted into a candy store. Marcus did. He grabbed Dion's hand. "Let's go." But Mr. Elias said, "I don't care." Marcus dragged him outside. When Elias found them, Marcus exploded. "You see now, we stick out everywhere." Elias frowned. "Stick out how?" Marcus threw up his hands. "Forget it. You're clueless." That night, Elias Googled, "raising black sons as a white parent." He clicked until sunrise. Days later, a package arrived, children's books about black heroes sent by Clara. Jamal devoured them. But when Elias bought posters of Maya Angelou and Muhammad Ali, Marcus ripped them down. "Stop trying to buy our culture." Elias flinched. "I'm trying to learn." Marcus hissed, "You can't buy this," and left. The breaking point came at 3 a.m. Elias found Marcus in the kitchen eating peanut butter from the jar. "Can't sleep?" Elias asked. Marcus glared. "Why'd you really adopt us?" The clock ticked. "You think I'm lying?" Elias said. Rich white guys don't do this, not for real. Elias's throat burned. After my family died, I stopped feeling anything. Then I saw you 5. You were in pain, but you still fought. I wanted... His voice broke. I wanted to feel like that again. Marcus stared. For a second, his mask slipped. What if we disappoint you? You won't. You don't know that. Elias leaned forward. I'm scared too, Marcus. The boy looked away. I'm keeping my last name, not becoming a Kane. Okay. And Terrell hates your piano music. I'll stop playing. And Caleb wants a dog. Elias smiled. Already ordered one. Marcus almost smiled back, then caught himself. This doesn't mean I trust you. Fair enough. As Marcus left, he muttered, The bike shop lady overcharged you. I saw the receipt. Elias laughed alone in the dark. The next week, a fluffy rescue pup arrived. Caleb named him Sir Barks-a-Lot. The boys taught him tricks, even grumpy Marcus. Elias watched them roll in the grass, thinking, maybe we'll be okay. But back in the city, a reporter dug into Elias's business deals. She found old contracts. His tech company used prison workers. The same prisons full of black men. Her article hit the internet with a title that would soon haunt them all, Saint Elias or Secret Sinner. Elias knew he needed help. The boy's world was different from his, and he didn't want to mess it up. So he called Mr. Thompson, a retired teacher from the neighborhood who'd spent years mentoring kids. When Mr. Thompson arrived, he wore a bright dashiki and carried a bag of books. The boys eyed him suspiciously. Why's he here? Marcus muttered, arms crossed. To teach us about stuff, Elias said, rubbing his neck. Stuff you care about. Mr. Thompson didn't flinch. He pulled out a worn map of Africa and spread it on the table. Ever heard of the Kingdom of Mali? He asked, pointing. Terrell leaned in. Sounds like a video game. Better, Mr. Thompson said, grinning. They had cities made of gold, libraries taller than skyscrapers, and kings who rode elephants. Caleb's eyes widened. Elephants? By the end of the hour, Mr. Thompson had them acting out stories about ancient warriors and inventors. Even Jamal, usually quiet, laughed as Marcus pretended to ride an imaginary elephant. Elias watched from the doorway, relieved. Maybe this would work. A week later, Elias decided they'd go out for pizza. A normal family thing, he said. The boys piled into his SUV, arguing over toppings. But when they walked into the crowded restaurant, the room went quiet. A man at the bar muttered something to his friend, loud enough for Marcus to hear. Rich guy's got himself a whole collection. Marcus froze. Jamal grabbed Dion's hand, and Caleb hid behind Elias. Let's just go, Terrell whispered. Face. Red Elias didn't understand. We have a reservation now, Marcus snapped, shoving past a staring couple. Back home, Elias found Marcus punching a pillow in the garage. What did that guy say? Elias asked. Doesn't matter, Marcus growled. You wouldn't get it. Try me. Marcus spun around. They think we're your toys, that you picked us 'cause we're black and pitiful. His voice cracked. And you just stood there like a robot. Elias's stomach dropped. I didn't hear him. Of course you didn't, Marcus said, storming off. That night, Terrell wandered the mansion's halls, bored. He found a locked door upstairs. When Elias wouldn't open it, Terrell waited until he left, then picked the lock with a hairpin. Inside was a little girl's room. Pink walls, dolls on the bed, dust everywhere. A photo on the dresser showed Elias holding a laughing toddler. What are you doing? Elias stood in the doorway, pale. Terrell glared. Is this your real kid's room? You keeping it till she comes back? She's gone, Elias whispered. So we're just filling her spot? Terrell's fists shook. Like cheap replacements? No, I just couldn't let her go. Jamal appeared, staring at the dolls. Did she die? Elias nodded, tears in his eyes. The boys stood awkwardly until Caleb picked up a stuffed unicorn. Can we keep this, so she's not lonely? Elias sank to the floor. Yeah, he choked out. She'd like that. Later, Elias called a therapist. I don't know how to fix this, he admitted over the phone. Start by listening, the voice said. Their pain isn't about you. Meanwhile, Marcus overheard the call. He told Jamal, Elias is talking to some doctor. Think he's sick? Jamal drew a picture of Elias with superhero wings. Maybe he's learning to fly. The next day, a news alert popped on Elias's phone. Kane Tech's dark secret? His stomach twisted. He quickly shut it off, but not before Marcus glimpsed the headline. What's that about? Marcus asked. Nothing, Elias said too fast. Marcus narrowed his eyes. You're a bad liar. That weekend, Elias tried again. He brought home a karaoke machine. Pick any song. The boys groaned, until Caleb belted out a cartoon theme song, dancing like a tornado. Terrell joined in, mock operatic. Even Marcus cracked a smile. As they laughed, Elias's phone buzzed. Another message about the reporter. He ignored it, clapping as Jamal rapped horribly. For now, the storm stayed outside. Elias's new project was supposed to fix everything. He called it the Bright Horizons Foundation, a $500 million plan to rebuild foster care centers, train better social workers, and keep siblings together. At the press conference, the boys stood beside him in matching blue sweaters, looking nervous but proud. Reporters snapped photos and shouted questions. Are the boys helping with the foundation? Elias smiled. They're my partners. Kids know what kids need. The next day, headlines called him a modern-day hero. Schools asked the boys to give speeches. A toy company even sent a box of free games labeled, for the Kane kids. But Marcus tossed it in the closet. They just want us to smile. For cameras, he said. Jamal disagreed. He loved drawing posters for the foundation, bright pictures of kids holding hands. We're helping people, he told Dion, who was busy building a Lego tower. Maybe we're famous for a good reason. But fame felt heavy. At the grocery store, strangers stopped them for selfies. At the park, parents whispered, "That's the Billionaire's adopted crew." Terrell started wearing sunglasses everywhere. I'm incognito, he said, tripping over a curb. Then the leak happened. A journalist named Tina Roy published an article titled, Kane Tech's Hidden Chains. She revealed that Elias's company used prison workers to build computer parts. Workers paid pennies an hour, most of them black. How can he save kids? Tina wrote, while profiting from broken families. The internet exploded. Hashtags trended. Hypocrite billionaire and Audrey cancel Kane. Protesters gathered outside the mansion gates chanting, Money can't buy love. The boys watched from an upstairs window, confused. Is Elias a bad guy? Caleb asked, clutching Sir Barks-a-Lot. No, Marcus said, but his fists were clenched. But he lied. Elias tried to explain. The prison contracts. They were from years ago. I didn't know. You're the CEO, Marcus shouted. How do you not know? That night, someone threw a rock through the mansion's front window. Glass shattered, and the boys screamed. Elias herded them into the basement, his hands shaking. Stay here, I'll call the police. Jamal whispered to Terrell. Are we gonna die? No, Terrell said, voice shaky. But what if they take us away? Upstairs, Elias argued with the cops. We need protection. My kids are scared. You brought this on yourself, Mr. Kane, an officer said coldly. By morning, the crowd had grown. Reporters camped on the lawn. The boys stayed hidden, peeking through blinds. Jamal stopped drawing. Marcus stopped talking. Only Caleb kept asking questions. Why do they hate us? Did we do something wrong? Elias's lawyer arrived, grim-faced. The state's reviewing your adoption. They think you're unfit. On what grounds? Elias snapped. The prison ties, the chaos. The boys aren't stable. Elias stormed out, slamming the door. He found Marcus in the garage, punching a dusty punching bag. They can't take you, Elias said. I won't let them. Marcus spun around. You don't get to decide. You're not our real dad. The words hung in the air like poison. Elias looked down. You're right. But I'm trying to be. That night, Elias gathered the boys in the living room. I'm shutting down the prison contracts. Every dollar they made, I'll donate. Too late, Marcus muttered. And I'm stepping down as CEO, Jamal gasped. But it's your company. You five matter more, Elias said quietly. The boys exchanged glances. Caleb crawled into Elias's lap. I believe you, he whispered. But the next morning, Jamal was gone. His bed was empty, Sir Barks-a-Lot left behind. A window in the kitchen was slightly open. Panic erupted. Elias called the police, the neighbors, anyone. The boys searched the woods, shouting Jamal's name. Dion cried into Terrell's shoulder. He wouldn't leave. He wouldn't. Marcus pulled Elias aside, tears in his eyes. This is your fault, all of it. Elias didn't argue. He drove through the night, checking parks and bus stops. At 3 a.m., he passed the foster care center where they'd first met. The lights were off, but someone sat on the steps, a small figure in a hoodie. Jamal Elias sprinted to him. Are you hurt? Why'd you run? Jamal hugged his knees. I wanted my mom. You remember her? No, but I have this. He pulled out a crumpled photo from his pocket, a woman with his same smile, holding a baby. The social worker gave it to me, she said. My mom loved me more than anything. Elias sat beside him. I bet she did. Do you think she's mad I live with you? No. She'd want you safe. Jamal wiped his nose. The protesters said you're bad, but you bought Caleb a dog, and you let me keep drawing. So, I don't know what's true. Elias's eyes burned. I don't either, but I'll keep you safe, I promise. When they got home, the boys tackled Jamal in a tearful group hug. Marcus didn't apologize, but he handed Elias a note the next morning. We're staying. For Jamal, not you. Elias tucked the note into his wallet. It was a start. But as he scrolled through news alerts that night, he froze. Tina Roy had posted another article, this time about the car accident that killed Jamal's mother. The date matched Elias's family's crash. His stomach turned to ice. Some secrets can't stay buried. Elias couldn't sleep. The date of Jamal's mother's accident gnawed at him. He sat at his desk, staring at old police reports and news clippings. His hands trembled as he compared dates. The crash that took his wife and daughter happened the same night Jamal's mother died. A cold sweat broke out on his forehead. He dug deeper, finding a faded witness statement. A second car swerved to avoid a deer, causing a chain reaction. The driver? His wife, Emily. Memories flooded back. Emily's panicked call that night, her voice shaky. Elias, there's been an accident. I tried to stop. The line went dead. She and their daughter were gone before he reached the hospital. The police had called it a tragic accident, no charges filed. But Emily had never mentioned hitting another car. Elias's heart raced. He drove to the police station, begging for answers. An old officer sighed, pulling a dusty file. Your wife's car clipped another vehicle. The driver, a young woman, died instantly. Her name was Tara Lewis. Jamal's mother. Elias stumbled outside, gasping for air. Guilt crushed him like a boulder. He'd never known. Now, he'd adopted Tara's sons, unaware he was connected to their deepest pain. At home, the boys sensed his turmoil. Caleb tugged his sleeve. You look sick. Want my teddy? Elias forced a smile, but Marcus glared. What's wrong with you? That night, Elias gathered them in the living room. The boys fidgeted, sensing the storm. Sir Barks-a-Lot whined at Jamal's feet. I need to tell you something, Elias began, voice cracking. He explained the accident, how Emily's car swerved, unknowingly causing Tara's death. I didn't know. Until now. Silence. Marcus shot up, eyes blazing. Your wife killed our mom? It was an accident. And you adopted us? Marcus's scream echoed. Was this a pity project? Jamal burst into tears. So, you're the reason we lost her? Elias reached for him, but Jamal recoiled. I'm so sorry, Elias whispered. I wanted to give you a family, not hurt you more. Dion kicked the coffee table. Liar, you're just like everyone else. Terrell grabbed Jamal's hand. We're leaving. Where? Caleb cried. Anywhere but here. Elias stood, blocking the door. Please, let me fix this. Marcus shoved him. You don't get to fix anything. The next morning, social workers arrived. News vans lined the street. The state, pressured by public outrage, threatened to remove the boys. Elias begged, They need stability. You've caused enough chaos, a social worker said coldly. The boys packed in silence. Caleb hid under his bed until Elias coaxed him out with a cookie. Do I have to go? He sniffled. For now, Elias said, fighting tears. But I'll fight for you. Every day. As the car pulled away, Jamal pressed a drawing to the window. A broken heart with wings. Elias collapsed, on the steps clutching Caleb's teddy. Reporters shouted questions. He ignored them, whispering, I'm sorry, Tara. Days later, Marcus stormed into his temporary foster home. The younger boys cried constantly, and Terrell barely spoke. At night, Marcus replayed Elias's words. I wanted to give you a family. Had the man ever lied before? One foster sibling sneered. Your rich dad dumped you, huh? Marcus punched him, landing in trouble. That night, he called Elias. I need help. Elias arrived in minutes, disheveled and breathless. Are you hurt? Marcus looked away. Why'd you come? You're my son. The word hung in the air. Marcus's tough facade cracked. I don't know what to believe. Believe this, Elias said, handing him a legal document. I'm suing the state to get you back, and I sold my company's shares to fund Tara's law, a bill to help kids who lose parents in accidents. Marcus read the paper, stunned. You sold Kane Tech? It's just money. For the first time, Marcus hugged him, quick, but real. Don't mess this up. The next hearing was packed. Reporters, protesters, and curious strangers watched as the judge reviewed Elias's plea. The boys sat stiffly, Caleb clutching Jamal's hand. Elias spoke, voice steady. I made mistakes, but these boys are my family. Let me prove it. Judge paused. I'll decide tomorrow. That night, Jamal found a news clip on a foster parent's phone, a video of Elias, alone in his empty mansion, teaching coding to foster teens online. The caption read, Billionaire no more, Elias Kane's new mission. Jamal showed Marcus. Maybe he's trying. Marcus hesitated. What if he fails again? Then we'll run away, Terrell said. But his cookies are good. The boys laughed weakly, a flicker of hope in the dark. The next morning, the judge's verdict would change everything, but not before one final storm. The courtroom buzzed with whispers. Elias sat stiffly in his suit, eyes darting to the boys huddled across the aisle. Marcus avoided his gaze, jaw clenched, while Caleb swung his legs nervously, clutching Jamal's hand. Terrell doodled on a legal pad, and Dion stared at the ceiling, pretending not to care. The judge's voice cut through the noise. Mr. Kane's commitment to reform is noted. However, the court prioritizes the children's stability. She adjusted her glasses. The boys will decide if they wish to return, under supervised visits and family counseling. Elias's shoulders slumped in relief. Marcus shot up. We get to choose? Yes, the judge said. But take your time. Back at their foster home, the boys argued. I'm not going back, Marcus said, pacing. He's still a liar. Jamal fiddled with his drawing of Elias and a rainbow. But he sold his company for us. So what? Terrell snapped. Mom's still gone. Caleb sniffled. I miss Sir Barks a lot. Dion, quiet until now, mumbled. Miss his cookies too. Mrs. Ruiz, their foster mom, knocked. Elias is here. For a visit, Marcus groaned. Tell him to leave. But Jamal darted outside. Elias stood on the porch holding a dog leash. Sir Barks-a-Lot bounded toward Jamal, licking his face. Thought you might want him, Elias said, smiling weakly. You kept him? Jamal hugged the squirming dog. He's family. Elias hesitated. Can I sit? Marcus appeared, arms crossed. Say whatever you gotta say. Elias knelt, voice shaky. I can't change the past, but I'll spend forever making it up to you if you let me. Caleb peeked around the door. Do you still have my room? Exactly how you left it. Terrell snorted. Even the Lego volcano I blew up? Especially that. A tiny laugh escaped Dion. Marcus glared, but his resolve wavered. Later, Elias showed up at a town hall meeting about Tara's law. Reporters sneered, but foster parents and teens filled the seats. He spoke humbly, ears red. I failed my kids, but failure's not the end, it's a start. A teen raised her hand. Why should we trust you? You shouldn't. Yet. Let me earn it. Afterward, Marcus watched the speech online, conflicted. Mrs. Ruiz patted his shoulder. He's trying, mijo. Not everyone does. Days passed. Elias visited daily, bringing board games, mismatched socks, and patience. One rainy afternoon, Jamal asked, Will you teach me coding? They huddled over a laptop, Elias guiding Jamal's small hands on the keyboard. See? You made the cat move. Jamal beamed. Marcus lurked in the doorway, watching. The night before the final decision, Terrell barged into Marcus's room. Jamal's crying. They found him clutching his mother's photo. She'd want us to be happy, he whispered. What if Elias is how we get there? Marcus sighed. What if he messes up again? Then we'll be there to kick his butt, Terrell said, grinning. Dion nodded. Teamwork. Caleb hugged Marcus's leg. Please, Mark? Marcus looked at his brothers, scared, hopeful, and knew the truth. They'd already chosen. In court, the judge smiled. Well, Marcus stood, voice steady. We'll go home, but he's on probation. Elias choked back tears. Deal! As they left, reporters swarmed. Marcus stepped forward, shielding his brothers. We're done being your story. We're just a family. Elias herded them into a waiting car, Sir Barks-a-Lot barking joyfully. Jamal rolled down the window, letting the wind tug his curls. Where to? Home, Elias said. Finally. But as the mansion gates closed, Marcus whispered, This doesn't mean I like you yet. Elias smiled. Wouldn't dream of it. The mansion felt different when they returned. Less like a museum, more like a home. Elias kept his promises. The prison labor contracts were canceled, and his old CEO office became a study room for the boys. But trust was still a fragile thing. Like Jamal's origami birds, beautiful but easy to crush. One afternoon, Marcus found Elias in the kitchen, burning toast. You're rich, why don't you hire a chef? Ms. Leah quit. Said Terrell's hot sauce experiments were a war crime, Elias said, grinning. Marcus almost smiled. Almost. When's the first counseling session? Tomorrow. You coming? Do I have a choice? Always. Elias said softly. The therapist, Dr. Amina, had them play a game. Each person held a string, tangled together. Untangle without letting go, she said. Caleb giggled, tripping over Dion. Jamal tied his string to Sir Barks-a-Lot's collar. Terrell tried chewing through his. Elias and Marcus got stuck back to back, yanking the strings tighter. This is stupid, Marcus muttered. Talk to each other, Dr. Amina urged. Find a way out, Elias sighed. I'm scared I'll fail you again. Marcus hesitated. I'm scared you won't. Slowly, they loosened the knots. News of Tara's law spread. Elias spoke at rallies, but the boys stole the show. Jamal displayed his art, a mural of families holding hands across races and ages. Terrell joked with reporters, Yeah, I'm the cool brother, don't hour me. At one event, a man shouted, "You're just his puppets." Marcus grabbed the mic. "We're here 'cause our mom died. You want to blame someone? Blame the system. Blame yourself for not caring till a billionaire messed up." The crowd went quiet. Elias's eyes shone with pride, but not everyone cheered. Hate mail piled up. One letter read, "Send those kids back where they belong." Elias hid it, but Dion found the shredder full of paper snowflakes. "Who's sending you glitter bombs?" he asked. Elias panicked. "Just junk mail." Marcus cornered him later. "You think we can't handle the truth? I want to protect you." "We're not glass," Marcus snapped. "Stop treating us like we'll break." The next day, Elias showed them the letters. Jamal drew a comic strip, a troll getting hugged to death by puppies. "That's how we fight," he said. The biggest test came at the state Senate hearing for Tara's law. Elias wore a suit. The boys wore hoodies. Politicians droned about budgets until Marcus raised his hand. "Can I say something?" The room stilled. Marcus spoke, voice steady. "Our mom died 'cause someone didn't see her. Don't make more kids invisible." A senator smirked. "And Mr. Kane's sudden change of heart? Convenient." Terrell stood. "He's not perfect, but he's trying. You ever try?" Caleb waved. "I'm 6. Do I get a sticker?" Laughter broke the tension. The law passed by one vote. That night they celebrated with pizza on the floor. Jamal fed Sir Barks-a-Lot pepperoni. "We did it." "You did it," Elias said. "I just drove the car." Marcus tossed him a crust. "You're okay, for an old guy." It felt like a beginning, but as Elias scrolled through emails, one subject line froze him. "I know what your wife did." Attached was a photo of Emily's car crash and Tara's smiling face. The past wasn't done with them yet. The email haunted Elias. He didn't sleep, pacing his office until sunrise. At breakfast, Marcus noticed the shadows under his eyes. "What's wrong now?" Elias hesitated, then showed him the photo. Marcus's face hardened. "Who sent this?" "I don't know. But if they go public, we'll handle it," Marcus said, surprising himself. Together, the blackmailer demanded a meeting at the old foster care center. Elias went alone, but the boys followed in a rideshare, hiding behind dumpsters. A woman stepped from the shadows. Tina Roy, the reporter who'd exposed his prison ties. "And you ruined my career," she spat. "Now I'll ruin you." Elias stood firm. "Do it, but leave the boys out of it." Tina laughed. "They deserve to know their hero is a fraud." Marcus leapt out, phone recording. "We already know, and we're still here. You're the one chasing ghosts." Tina froze. Jamal stepped forward, holding his mother's photo. "You want to hurt us? Go ahead. But we've survived worse." Dion picked up a rock. "And we've got better aim now." Tina backed away, muttering, "You're all crazy." Elias hugged the boys, shaking. "You shouldn't have come." Marcus shrugged. "You're not the only stubborn one." Weeks later, the Kane family stood on stage at the dedication of the Tara Lewis Community Center. The building buzzed with kids painting murals, coding robots, and eating Ms. Leah's jollof rice. Reporters circled, but the boys ignored them. Jamal unveiled his mural, a towering tree with roots shaped like Tara's face and branches holding the 5 brothers. Elias's eyes watered. "She'd be proud," he whispered. Marcus grabbed the mic. "This isn't about the past. It's about fixing tomorrow." The crowd cheered. Afterward, Terrell dragged Elias to the gym. "Check it out," he pointed to a plaque. "The Emily and Tara Memorial Scholarship." You named it after both of them?" Elias stammered. Caleb hugged him. "Their family too." Years passed. Marcus, now a lawyer, paced his office, defending foster kids. His desk held a photo of the brothers at his graduation. Elias mid-sneeze, Caleb making bunny ears. Jamal's art hung in galleries worldwide, but his favorite piece stayed in the community center. A sculpture of interlocked hands, labeled broken, things mend stronger. Terrell became a chef, his food truck, Hot Sauce Justice, a hit at protests. Dion engineered solar-powered homes, building neighborhoods where kids don't get split up. Caleb, the baby at 16, taught coding classes at the center. Students adored his goofy sock collection and his catchphrase, "Mistakes are just upgrades waiting to happen." Elias, gray-haired and content, volunteered as Caleb's assistant. "Mr. Elias, you're buffering again," Caleb teased when he fumbled a keyboard. One rainy afternoon, they all gathered at Tara's grave. Sir Barks-a-Lot, now a grizzled old dog, wagged beside them. "Remember when we hated each other?" Terrell joked. Marcus smirked. "I still hate your cooking." Elias placed a bouquet of wildflowers next to Emily's headstone. "We turned out okay," he whispered. Caleb tugged his sleeve. "Can we get pizza?" As they walked away laughing, a young couple approached the community center. "This place changed my life," the man told his daughter. "Maybe it'll change yours too." Inside, Jamal's mural glowed in the sunset. A family stitched from scraps, finding light in the cracks. 10 years after the community center opened, Caleb hosted its biggest event yet, a tech fair for foster kids. The gym buzzed with robots, holograms, and a popcorn machine Terrell insisted on for moral support. Teens crowded around Jamal's newest mural, a digital screen where art changed based on your heartbeat. Uncle Caleb. A girl tugged his sleeve. Zoe, 12, had lived at the center since her parents' deportation. "My robot won't dance." Caleb knelt, wires stuck in his hair. "Did you code it to want to dance? Feelings matter, Zoe." Nearby, Marcus argued with a city official. "You can't cut funding for night classes." "Budget's tight," the man said. Marcus slammed a folder on the table. "I've sued bigger bullies than you. Try me." The man left sweating. Dion rushed in, tablet in hand. "Guys, the weather app says a storm's hitting tonight. The roof leaks. We'll fix it," Elias said, now 70 but still stubborn. He climbed a ladder, Terrell steadying it. "You're retired, old man," Terrell joked. "Act like it." Rain poured by midnight. The brothers, Elias, and volunteers formed a bucket brigade catching drips. Zoe's robot, now dancing, played loud music to keep spirits up. Jamal sketched the chaos, laughing. "This'll be my next exhibit. Family versus nature. A crash." Echoed. Part of the roof caved in. Water flooded the gym. "The kids' projects," Caleb yelled, scrambling to save hologram gear. Marcus shouted, "Everyone out!" "Now!" Zoe froze, staring at her drowned robot. Elias scooped her up. "It's just hardware, kiddo. You're the magic." The next morning, the center was a wreck. News crews filmed the damage. Zoe cried on Caleb's shoulder. "It's over." "Nah," Terrell said, flipping pancakes on a portable griddle. "We've survived worse." "Remember when Dion's science fair volcano blew up actual lava?" Dion grinned. "Marcus still has shirt burns." By noon, social media exploded. Save the Center trended. Donations poured in. 5 from single moms. From single moms. 10 darowant from former foster kids turned CEOs. A construction crew arrived, led by a woman in a hard hat. "I lived here as a kid," she said. "Your turn to lean on us." Zoe rebuilt her robot, adding waterproof armor. "I named him Elias. He's stubborn too." At the reopening, the crowd cheered as Zoe's bot danced in the rain. Jamal unveiled his new mural, a storm cloud with 5 hands holding it up. Marcus hugged Elias. "Not bad for a bunch of broken parts, huh?" Elias wiped his eyes. "Best thing I never built alone." That night, the brothers ate pizza on the gym floor just like old times. Caleb's phone buzzed. A viral video of Zoe's robot, tagged Future Inventor. "Look," he whispered, "the ripple's starting." And somewhere a new kid watched the video thinking, maybe I can fix things too.